Let me just introduce my color wheel here. Which end of this has my microphone on it? I think this does. Okay. So yesterday I was talking about, well, let me go get it. A watercolor pencil coloring that I was doing, and I was talking about the perfected color harmony being one that you find in nature, and it's a real nice one to work with if you look at what you're dealing with on your page and then figure out how it's working on the color wheel. Then you can keep it under control. So this is the one that we were looking at here, and of course apples are red, right? Well, here's an apple. It's red, right? Oh, whoops! But look at the difference here. Okay. So we're going to look at the color wheel. There's red right here. Here's red. It's the primaries. Red, yellow, blue. This was done with Pelikan, Pelikan, gouache colors. Specifically formulated for mixing and studying your colors so you really get it down. So you get a red, and a blue, and a yellow. This is a little lemony, but there we are. So here's red. Looks like an apple. Look at this apple. This apple is actually red violet. All right. And then the pear, we think of pears as yellow, and often when I color them green because we see them green in the store. Here's one. It always has a little blush on it. There, it's sunset now. So, but these colors are still fine. So then we were looking at this up close, and yes, it's yellow, and yes, it's also green. Those little spots in it are greenish. There's some more liquidy spots and less pulpy or less fibrous spots than the lighter color, which is sort of a greenish yellow. And then it has touches of a nice little rose pink on here. So I was talking about what color scheme this could be. Well, I bought into this knowing about something so you don't look at it and actually see it for what it is. And I said, well, it's red because of the apple, and then it has yellow and green. So I think it's a red and green with yellow green and blue green on the other side. And blue green is not there yet. Well, that was what I figured. But the apple isn't really red. We just say it is. And it was just off the top of my head. Here it is, it's red violet. The opposite of red violet is yellow green. Well, we've got a lot of yellow green in here, and we've got yellow green all over the place on our pear, as well as yellow. So here's our opposite, yellow green. We've got yellow, and we've got green. So here is your actual perfected harmony that we're looking at. But I could go back to saying, yes, it's red. Just pretend that it's a more purplish red. And the opposite is green. And we can get the yellow green and the blue green. But then we're missing out on a lot of yellow that we want in here. But I was thinking I can go ahead and put in the blue green because these things that I couldn't figure out, I think are charred. And charred is a wonderful blue-green color. But I still am going to need my yellow. So I'm going to go with this. And then I'm just going to say, it's actually kind of a broad, perfected one. We're stretching it. It really is just one and the two. And more often than that, it's one that gives you more cluck for your buck. For example, a primary and a secondary are going to give you blue, blue-green, and blue-violet, which are more different than, you can't mix these two together to get blue. Whereas over here, you can mix yellow and green together to get yellow-green, right? So we generally aren't going to mix up the tertiary color in that. So blue, you might have this spread over here. Well, you are getting a tertiary, I think. But anyway, that is for another time. I just wanted to mention that about these colors here and how they work on the color wheel. And I'm very rigid about where red goes on the color wheel, and there's a very good reason for it. So here's red, here's yellow, here's blue. There are 12, 30 degrees to each. Each quadrant is 90 degrees. Okay, red, 1, 2, 3, yellow, 1, 2, 3, blue, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Down here on the bottom of this is more color work. And I really would love to get an online class together and get people painting their work and showing it, but it's quite time consuming, but it still could be done by stretching things out. This is a value scale and this is a neutral scale. Any two opposites make brown. They make different browns, see? Red and green. Actually, that's closer there, off a little bit. Yellow and purple, and blue and orange. Okay. Now, the trick here is starting with your straight orange and your straight blue and your straight yellow and your straight purple, your straight red, your straight green, and mixing them in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 equal steps. Okay, with your brown right in the middle. 3 steps up and 3 steps up and the brown in the middle. So it's real tricky, and it's just the best for really understanding colors, is pushing yourself to do this kind of work. And then this is the grayscale, from white over here to black in even steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Here are value scales of all of the colors. There's no black shown and no white shown, but these are the steps in between of all of the colors. Again, this is mixing, because you can see these other colors that, oh, they have a special name when I buy it. Well, look at that color. Okay, so you know how to make your colors. And we just do this over and over. Do it once a year. And these are all your different browns with the primary colors. These are, I think I just did primary and secondary. 3, 6, 9. No, I don't know what I did, but there they are. And then here is the example I did of how we do see this beautiful color harmony in nature. Here are the colors that we have. It's actually a double split complementary. It's a red-green, but there's no red and no green. So that's why it's split. What we have is a red-violet, or do we? A red-violet and a yellow-green and a green. No, it's not a split complementary. It's just a double complementary. Opposite. Okay. It's similar to a perfected. We don't have a range of 3 on one side or the other, but what we do have is a red violet and a violet. No, I'm going to go back. I'm going to say I've got a red and a red violet and a yellow green and a green. All right. So, sorry, a red and a red violet and a yellow green and a green. These are actually the colors that we're seeing here. See them? Okay. But off the top of my head, I was saying something different. So, here are our 2 opposites. It's just a double complementary. It's okay. And there we have it. We have here our violet, basically in our yellow, green, and our green, and we're not really using this red except for a few little touches, and we've added in a little bit of yellow to go a little bit farther over there. And the brown is made out of these colors, so that this brown is unified with the rest of the painting. So that's everything that's in there. That's it. I don't darken colors with black, although I did show on the value scale there's black, but I don't use black usually, and then I do use white when I'm using opaque colors. But I'm mostly a watercolorist, so white is the paper, and black you don't use. You use neutral tint, or you mix indigo or a nice dark blue with a nice dark brown, like Van Dyke brown or sepia. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. But this brown is the brown that you get from mixing opposites. And it goes with everything because it's made from them. That's the point I'm trying to make with opposites and the browns. And it's something that not a lot of people realize. It's like, well, you just mix everything together. Well, yeah, you do mix everything together. If you mix blue with orange, you're mixing red and yellow and blue. But you're making smaller proportions of two of those colors because you're using a primary and a secondary. And all this will make more sense as I go on. And I think I'm going to do some color work with watercolor rather than the gouache. But I do want to show how to mix, because it's such a key to understanding so much, and you save so much money by knowing what your colors are and how to make them. Okay. And I think that's all I have to say. I got that, and I think we looked at this the other night. And this is a new camera setup, and I see why I sometimes see legs in people's pictures. And please subscribe. There's a subscribe button. I usually watch on YouTube. Watch YouTube on my Xbox streaming, and it's very easy to get closed captions on that too. As I noticed, the sound on this is not all that clear. And there's a subscribe button on the streaming that's quite easy to see. And then the update button is a little bell. And I actually post erratically. So if you're interested in catching the color videos as they come out, because they're brewing, I'm still getting myself set up, but I'm doing my very start on it, you might want to get that. But if you simply subscribe, whatever I have posted is going to show up in your feed of subscriptions. And I'm not all that familiar with how this looks on the laptop. I couldn't find any closed captions for my video on the laptop, but I think I don't know. I think I did get some on something. So anyway, I'm just filling you full of information that isn't information. Please pardon me. Please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. I'm so excited to be sharing this color work. I come from a family of artists with degrees. All right, take care.